Hello and welcome guys to another Warmachine Tactics with your buddy Cajun. I'll be playing Cricks this game. The map is trenches, and I have no idea what my opponent is picking. Looks like my opponent has chosen Signar. First control phase, allocating one focus to each of the jacks. Per our standard, run everything as fast as we can before the guns start to hurt. My last opponent didn't handle this matchup very well. And essentially what he did was he missed out on an entire round of shooting by having his guys too far back. By the time I made it to his lines, I was nearly wholly intact. And then he brought his caster at an awkward angle, and that was all she wrote. Really, too many mech enthralls got into his line, messed his stuff up. We will see how this opponent plays it. What I would do as Signar in this particular situation is I would cast Snipe on my charger. I would have placed the charger near the front. You drive the charger up and you pick off a mech enthrall turn 1, or a bone chicken even. Allocating 3 focus to the charger so that it can use its dual cannon, boosted twice. With some luck, you'll kill a bone chicken in a single go. You're very likely to kill a mech enthrall in a go. And I have my trenchers and grenadiers focused in a refused flank formation, which means all on one side of the map, so that they can do saturated fields of fire. It's going to take, without any crits, it takes 4 trencher shots to really bring down a mech enthrall. And he's only got 6 of the guys. I do need to be careful of spacing. 3 of his guys can launch grenades, which do AoE. They're terrific. And they do horrific things to you if you bunch up. But on average, each trencher should do 3 damage to a thrall. Now that's not any criticals. He's about a 1 in 3 chance of critting. And so that's a good chance that 3 shots will take out a mech enthrall. So relying on that good chance and having a crit in one of each of the pairings, then 3 guys teaming up on a mech enthrall, and 3 guys teaming up on another, and his charger taking one out, he could drop 3 mech enthralls in a turn. Now none of those guys will be in range with the exception of the charger this first turn. The charger with snipe would be in range right from the get-go. Turn 2, I'll have to advance to about here. If he hangs back, that's his turn to really pepper me. He has to get the distance just right, though. A thrall's speed is 6, which means his charge distance should be 9 squares. The range of the trench gun is 10 squares. So if he measures it out to the very furthest distance, he can get a free shot on me, and all I can do is run up to him to be meleeed by him next turn. doesn't get that free shot, if he doesn't line up just right and fire away, I can run 12, totally bypassing his range of 10, and then you have a full health thrall in your face. The thing about Mechanthralls is they have 2 melee attacks if they opt to punch with each fist. They can combine them for a little bit more powerful strike. The odds of hitting aren't great versus infantry with that, so it's often better to take the 2 attacks. The combo attack is generally better for warjacks. And thralls can also pounce, which is like a 3 square movement where they attack something within 3 squares. That's a single attack, so typically you're going to want to use both of your attacks as a Mechanthrall. You're not supremely accurate, you're not super powerful. Each Mechanthrall punch, though, when it lands, is going to do about 3 damage to a trencher if it doesn't crit. If it crits, it can do 7 to 8. Really tear a trencher up. This side of the map is harder for Signar than, say, this side of the map. And the reason that is unless he wants to put his ironclad on the far flank where it'll be ignored, then he has to drive his ironclad through this gateway. And the ironclad takes up literally the entire span of the gateway. So nothing else is going through while the ironclad's going through. The ironclad is very slow. So you either pile up behind that big behemoth, or you pile him up behind you where he's completely ineffective. The Charger should be the first in the conga line out of this hole, though, just because he can do damage turn 1. The smoke, this is very, very good ability. It royally hurts my chances in melee and my chances in ranged of hurting people that are smoked. But a soldier does sacrifice his attacks to launch that smoke grenade, and with only 6 soldiers, you're literally using 1/6 of your infantry for each smoke grenade you cast. He has cast Snipe on the Charger. Increasing the range to 16 squares. It's kind of hard to gauge exactly where that is, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably about here, from where the Charger's standing. So the Charger would need to come up 4 further. Okay, I'm to the point though where I can now shoot first, which is odd given that my range is much more limited than his. I've allocated 2 focus to the Defiler because I imagine the Defiler will actually make it in range to spit on someone this turn. I'm saving 2 focus to cast a Venom through one of my Arc Node Jacks. Okay, I'm aiming at a guy in a cloud. Mine is a spray. It's supposed to ignore the cloud effect somewhat. I'm boosting to hit and boosting damage. Probable damage 6 to 8. If I do crit, I can kill him in a go. Trenchers have 12 health, and I'm likely to give him a continuous corrosion effect, which if it doesn't go out, can consistently do 2 damage a turn. If the continuous... he's got a 2/3 chance of dying at the beginning of next turn. A dice should be rolled at the beginning of the turn, 1 or 2. The corrosion effect will cease. Continuous effects such as corrosion, fire, they work like that. If corrosion does not cease, it does 2 standard damage regardless of armor in Warmachine tactics. Fire, you take a POW 10 hit, something like that, versus your armor. So armor can reduce how badly fire can hurt you, but if you're lightly armored, you're more likely to take even more damage. Trying to leave at least a space in between each of the thralls. You cannot target ground with AoEs. You have to target a person. So if he's going to be lobbing grenades, the damage will be restricted to a single person. No need in giving him free damage across my units. Not that mech and thralls are super important to preserve, but there's no excuse for sloppy strategy either. The factions that they have, the Protectorate, Signar, Khador, and Krix, are so unique that you have to play each matchup somewhat differently. For the Krix, it's kind of run up and spread out against everyone you fight, but you don't want to send them out like this against, say, the Protectorate, as Krios will just knock them all down in a single go, and then his Temple Guard will just come out and poke everyone that's laying on the ground and set them on fire. But Striker, the warcaster for Signar, this ginger dude who looks like an awesome guy, his feat is invincibility. All of his guys get a 3 damage reduction for a turn. So he can really take a beating on that turn. It'll mitigate charge bonuses, and I intend to charge with everything next turn, so this would be a wise turn for him to use that. Simply because everything will be in range to attack next turn. It'll be the most cost effective to weather that much damage. Against Khador, you play similarly, but this is probably the perfect range for Khador to be shotgunning my people. You need to have more of a flat, almost like a shield wall against Khador when you're playing Krix, because the shotguns, or the blunderbusses, just do amazing line damage, and it's easy to go down these lines. But if you come at them flat, where you're abreast of each other, then they hit one guy. And the spray goes through a guy, hits the people behind him. So this would not be the proper formation versus Khador, as he has firing lines there where he can hit multiple guys, firing lines there he can hit multiple guys. You see what I'm saying? Let's see what we can do. Venom. I can try to finish that guy off, but I think corrosion will take care of him. So my better target is this guy, as it'll hit both of them. But let's just see what all our targets are. Okay, that appears to be our best. We're going to go ahead and cast this and see what happens. Alright, solid damage, solid damage. My feat is amazing. -2 speed, -1 mat, -1 rat, -1 magic, -1 defense, -1 arm, -2 focus, and you cannot run or make special attacks. Probably the best feat in Warmachine tactics at the moment. Next turn, I'll, depending on whether he's feated or not, I'll bring her up and cast my feat. And if I do that at the beginning of my turn, then my charge should really hit home. If he's feated, then my charge is going to do nothing. So I'll save it. That trencher did go ahead and die of the corrosion. These guys are still suffering from it. If I leave these guys alone, they'll take 4 turns to die. That's, most of the games are well in hand in the next 4 turns. By round 6, you pretty much already know who's going to win, unless there's some kind of crazy out of the blue caster kill. One of my guys got hit with a grenade, wasn't paying enough attention. This guy is now at -1 armor. He got hit. Ooh, that trencher wants blood. 5 damage is very respectable on a bone chicken. They're very hard to hit. The fact that he was able to manage it really speaks wonders to his martial training. He actually AoE'd his buddy there, too. Didn't look like his buddy took any effect, though. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Bone chickens can be hard to hit. He's not really dedicating enough fire into the Slayer to bring the Slayer down this round. So he's better off not dedicating any firepower to Slayer this round. The Warjacks without system damage are just as good on the last box as they are on the first box. So if you're going to dedicate to killing this guy, you really need to dedicate enough to bring him down. The Ironclad could do it if he could charge, but he cannot. He should not waste his charger shooting that. His charger should be picking off Mechanthralls, maybe finishing off the Bone Chicken. He could do... There we go. That's a good decision by my opponent. Beautifully done. That was a wise decision. With Snipe upkept, he could have done it from much further back. He really shouldn't have upkept Snipe. Well within his range if that was going to be his target. Makes me think that he didn't originally plan, or she, Christina, didn't originally plan that action. It just kind of happened that way. It's almost not worth even attacking on a turn with an invincibility up. Some lucky crits can get through, but for the most part, his guys are safe for a round. So, what I can do is the Slayer should do enough damage to that Trencher that it should not matter whether invincibility is up. So I'm going to go ahead and dedicate some damage to the Slayer. The Defiler's got a shot. I'm going to go ahead and do what I can with it. And then I'll cast one more Venom on somebody. Hopefully there's enough Mechanthralls, someone will crit and put some dinky damage on him. I do not expect to bring this guy down on this turn. I don't want to take on his ironclad this turn because, again, the feat is up. So I'm going to go ahead and take this trencher out and throw some mech thralls in the way so that I don't get countercharged. Missed. Oh, that's brutal. Missed again. Might get 1 damage if I hit on 38%. That's with the combo strike. So I'm just going to do the charge strike. Combo strike is if you're standing still, because the charge strikes are boosted anyway. I have no chance of hurting him with this strike. If that had landed, I would have done 6 damage to him, which is fairly reasonable given what's going on. You have to dedicate so very much. It's worth it if it happens. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Take our best shot at striker. That'll work. That will work. Get a back strike on that charger. I opted not to wither yet, because I'm not going to get the benefits of attacking his lowered defenses. It would work defensively for me, but I don't think I'll take sufficient damage this turn, especially now that I've tied up his mechs, to warrant it. I will cast it next turn when I can give the coup de grace to what's left of his forces. He's down to 3 infantry and his 3 jacks. Jacks are nearly full strength, but the Lancer's now tied up. The 5 mech enthralls are more than a match for the Lancer, especially with the help of the Death Ripper. Slayer and Ironclad, it's kind of a toss-up who gets to who first, who gets a little luckier with the rolls. The Charger is the only free man. It looks like he still maintains Snipe by this little effect in between the legs here. Would not have kept +4 range at this moment. This Charger is well within range of everything without having to upkeep Snipe. And Coleman could really stand to keep the focus on himself for now. Good try, Coleman. Just not enough. If he had taken that guy out, then the Charger could have charged my Slayer. It's not optimal. Really, you'd want the Ironclad charging. There's no way the Ironclad fits through the doorway until the Charger gets out of his way. I suppose if he could have taken this guy out with Striker just now, then the Charger could have backed up and attempted a boosted shot at this Thrall, trying to take the Thrall out. If he took the Thrall out, which he didn't have really enough focus to guarantee that, and with the Charger having stepped back, then the Ironclad could have come through and really taught my Slayer who's who. But the odds were against him from the against her from the start. It just wasn't going to happen that way. And one of the infantry bites the dust as he tries to run past my Mechanthrall, who receives his right proper free strike. Where is he sending these guys? Well, that paid off for him. It's a much fairer fight now with those 2 trenchers, and the 4 thralls, the Death Ripper, and the Lancer. I thought Coleman had already activated. I guess it wasn't Coleman that shot this guy. It must have been a trencher. Because this guy just got popped with the disruptor pistol, and only Coleman has that disruptor pistol. I don't really need to put 3 focus in a defiler, who's only got 1 ranged attack anyway. The rate of fire limits me to 1 shot, so I might as well boost the accuracy and damage of that shot, and that's only the 2 focus you really need. These Mechanthralls will try to pounce out of the way, so I'll allocate 3 focus to the Slayer. He'll walk up, deal with the Charger, maybe deal with Striker if I have shots on him. Withering's gonna really be a pain in the Signar player's side, and he's getting withered next turn, so good little setup. You know what? I miscounted his infantry. He's still got a guy here. Not that this guy's mucking up my plans or anything. I have the decision. Which of these guys is more likely to bring this guy down, as the other one needs to come up around here and set up a second attack on Coleman. They won't be able to attack him this round, but they can get pretty close. And if I allocated a focus to this guy, he might have the range to actually charge him. But I don't know how the mechanics of charging over a wall work. I did watch this Lancer walk through this wall, so maybe. Oh, that's poor sport right there. Just leaving, taking 5 minutes on your turn and then just leaving, not even finishing your turn.